Good afternoon, Big Brother fans. It is 1:15 p.m. Big Brother time, and I needed to get on here and put a daily update on what's going on. I thought that I might be able to record my update while I did yard work, but I'm going to demonstrate for you what that would have sounded like, and I've already made the decision that I'm not going to do it, but you're going to get to hear at least a little bit of it. So I have a DJI wireless microphone setup that I bought this summer, and it does noise canceling, and the noise canceling is not too bad. However, it's not that great either, right? So it can't overcome a loud weed eater that's walking around. So we're going to do a little bit of very quick, like 10 seconds of weed eating, so you'll see what it's like, and then I will record the rest of my podcast and do my yard work afterwards. So here you go. We're going to fire it up, and this is what I would sound like if I tried to talk to you guys while I was weed eating, and I do not think that you want to listen to that the whole time, so we're not going to do it. I was hopeful. I was hopeful that the noise canceling would be awesome. This microphone, by the way, is the kind that you see people on. They attach it to credit cards and little cards and stuff because it's so tiny you can't really hold it easily, but I've got it clipped underneath my chin. All right, so let's talk about what's going on in the Big Brother house, and then I will go do my yard work. As I said, it is Saturday or Sunday, and I was golfing yesterday. That's what I was going to do when I recorded my last podcast. And the stuff that went on yesterday, well, the Power Veto competition was held, right? So I'm getting in my car because I'm always more comfortable in my car, and it's cooler in here. So the Power Veto competition was held. The extra players were Barrett and Mallory, and the competition was OTEV, which people speculated it might be. And as it turned out, Yash won. So the head of household now also has the power of veto. And so he can do whatever he wants. And I'm still not 100% sure what he's going to do. I think he's still deciding. It's still up in the air. There's all kinds of, I'm going to say, air quotes, scrambling going on. And by that, I mean Dee is nominated, as well as Angela and Haley. And they are thinking, Dee is thinking, well, she already tried to use her bribe on Yash once, right? Now, Devins might possibly use his power on Monday. Now, I watched him earlier today just explore the possibilities of not doing it with Dee. And she's just kind of like, look, you got to do what you got to do, but there is no guarantee that I don't go home if I'm on the block on Thursday. And she's right. So she kind of laid a semi-guilt trip on Drew, but she did kind of say, or not on Drew, on Devins, but she did kind of say, you're open to do what you want to do. So take that for what it's worth. What other highlights to tell you guys about that went on yesterday? So the Power Veto ceremony, the Power Veto competition happened. I think Barrett was second. I don't know how, and maybe Melody was third. I'm not sure. It could have been a completely different outcome if Yash hadn't won it. I think Yash had been hiding his the answers. Remember, this is recently, at least, this has been a competition where they get asked trivia questions about their former house guests that are no longer in the house. And the very last question, apparently the answer was Ashley. And what they're saying is, what Barrett's saying is there was, or I think that was the last question. If it wasn't, it was the second to last. There was only a couple of Ashley names out in the yard where they have to grab things. And so he didn't get to his as soon as Yash got one, and so Yash beat him out, and that's how it happened. I believe it was Ashley. I don't think it was the second to last. I think it was the last. And so that's that. That's how that happened. I don't think we heard a description of what OTEV character was this time. It'll eventually come out. It'll come out on Wednesday, if nothing else. What else to tell you? Dee had a very long talk, like over an hour, with Melody last night. She's trying to get closer to Melody and Mallory because they realize that it would be good to, curry their favor, and they know that Drew and Barrett are close to those two. And so she did that. Now, she said she thinks she's a great person. She really enjoyed talking to her and all that. She also told Melody about her power. So she's now told Kamu, Yash, Devins, and Melody. And Melody told Drew. And this is where it gets interesting. Late last night, they got the backyard back. And Drew and Barrett are talking in the backyard. And they had been with, I think Melody had been sitting with them, and Melody got up to leave, and Dee walks out in the backyard. It looks like the way she's carrying herself, like, we finally get in the backyard again. And right as she's starting her way across the backyard, and also all the way at the other side of the yard, they were sitting by the hammock. She's coming out the back door. Drew says, and you know that Dee has the power. And Barrett was like, no. Because he doesn't. He didn't know that Dee had a power. He suspected that she did, but she never told him outright. She kind of hinted maybe she does, but she didn't tell him what it was, and she didn't tell him for sure that she had one. She did suggest that he flee to America to get a power, or get a time capsule, but that was a couple of days ago. And in that conversation, she almost indicated she did, but she didn't outright say it. Well, she said it to Melody. Melody said it to Drew. Drew just said it to Barrett as Dee is walking across the yard. Now, Dee did not hear this. They were whispering, and Barrett started to ask a question, like, what is it? And then Drew said, what? And Barrett said, never mind. And he changed the topic because Dee was getting too close. And so Dee sat out there for, I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes talking with the two of them. The whole time, of course, Barrett knows now that Drew found out before he did about the power. But I guess it's Melody told him. So it's not that Dee has more faith in Drew. It's that Dee has more trust. In Barrett's mind, at least I would be thinking, why does Dee trust Melody with this information? Now, when Drew was telling, so fast forward, Dee gets up to leave, and as soon as she's out of earshot, they drop right back into talking about this power. Now, I posted both of these videos up on Bluesky this morning, so they are there, and you can watch the entire thing, not the entire Dee, Drew, Barrett conversation, because that was not nearly the same as this. I was more concerned about Barrett finding out, Drew knowing about Dee's power. So as Dee, as soon as she, you can see it, but as soon as Dee's out of earshot leaving, Drew is saying, I think she did it to curry favor with Melody, to kind of show that she trusts her, which is, I agree on all of that. She was doing it as here's how much I trust you. I'm telling you a secret. So he said, Drew was, because Barrett did say, I'm kind of disappointed that she didn't tell me first. And Drew was kind of like, well, I think she was just doing this for this and this. So, and I think that's true, but it still won't matter. And it wouldn't matter to me if I was Barrett. Would it matter to you? It doesn't matter that she was using this thing. She still should have told me first. That means she doesn't trust me the way that she, as much as I thought she did. So I don't know if that will matter in the long run, but it's an interesting moment to see and to capture and to talk about. All right. So that happened. Meanwhile, all last night, Taylor was hanging out upstairs with Kamu, and they are just talking different game, or not Kamu, with Yash. They're talking game, they're talking players, they're talking this and that, they're talking anti-icon stuff, right? And I say icon, and Dingo, aka Hamster Watch, has a good point. She said she doesn't use the word icon because that's a CBS introduced name, and we really shouldn't give it oxygen, right? So I should just say the vets. And vets meaning veterans of reality shows. Although, don't forget, Drew played on the first season of the Beast Games, which is a reality show and was on Prime. So it's not like he hasn't been on reality TV. And of course, Lyric was on on the show that she was on. But back to what I was saying. Oh, I'm sorry. I got distracted by a notification on my phone. So the discussion between Taylor and Yash, they're talking a lot. I think, Kamu's been up there a lot. So this plays into what I'm going to talk about next, which was earlier today, just a little bit ago, Latrice went and grabbed Kamu and they went to the back bedroom to talk, and they talked about forming an alliance. That Latrice says, I think, the four of us are really good together, and so we should form an alliance, kind of a thing. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what the gist of it was, and he agreed, and they came up with the name, or at least Latrice suggested the name, The Covenant, which has religious undertones, which annoys a great deal of people on the Bluesky community, but it is what it is. It was just funny when she ran out saying, I think this is the name. And Kamu was like, I love it. So that hasn't happened officially yet. Taylor and Yash have not been looped in, although I could easily see the four of them having an alliance. So that makes sense. I mean, we've seen this, right? We've seen who the Wolf Pack is Yash and Kamu, and D and Devons, right? 4-person alliances are 2 pairs. That's what happens. What often happens with that. FAP is a 4-person alliance of 2 pairs. So these things kind of happen. This is another one that's happening. So I don't know if it'll get it to the TV or not, but that's especially since things are going to probably blow up tomorrow. But we'll see. Other conversations they had. They are now exploring the possibility of merging of having another alliance, that being the FAP, which the FAP is what it is. It's Drew, another pair of 4, Drew, Barrett, Mallory, and Melody. Okay, those 4 are the FAP. You can come up with three different words. It doesn't really matter. It's just, the joke is in the initials. So those 4, and they want to combine with Drew and Devons, really. Drew, Devons, and Barrett kind of are behind this. They want to kind of merge with the vets, with Angela, Devons, and D. So that was brought up. It's been brought up in a couple of different ways. Very blatantly today, Angela was on the upper deck area with D and Devons and Barrett, and Angela's like, oh, I just love all these people and this, and Devons kind of like, I think we got to look going forward, now with the red corner being, shot down, maybe we got to look at kind of building our alliance back up and bringing in a couple of people like Mallory and Melody. If we have 7 of us going into jury, that would be great. We can kind of almost determine the winner, right? So Angela's all for it. Now, Dee has already been talked to about it. She's all for it. Devon's all for it. So that is going to happen at some point, and that will probably withstand the blow up that is scheduled to happen tomorrow. And I will remind you all, the blow up that I'm talking about is that what we talked about earlier. We also had a conversation between Dee and Devons this morning, which let me stick to that one, where Dee and Devons are plotting about what could happen on Monday and Devon's power to save Dee and possibly put up Camus and get him out. That isn't for sure yet. The whole gist of it is, though, it would be Camus, Haley, and Angela on the block come Thursday. We don't know if Yash is going to use his POV yet. If he uses the power of veto, they could throw a bit of a wrench in the plans, depending on if he saves Haley or if he saves Angela. I don't think he's going to save Dee, but he could potentially save Haley and throw somebody else up, like maybe Barrett. We just don't know. But let's assume that he decides not to use it. If he decides not to use it, then Devons probably 99% most likely will interrupt the ceremony and say, I'm using my diamond power veto, I'm taking D off, and I'm putting Camus up. So you have Camus, Haley, and Angela up, and then we see how it outplays. That all could happen tomorrow. That's as much as we'll talk about it right now. Just know that it's there. But that leads to the other conversations. So I think those are all the major bullet point conversations that have happened in the last, 24-ish hours. I think I've got all your little things. Bluesky is having some technical difficulties and has been for about 5 or 6 hours now. And so that was one of the reasons I rushed to do this, because I thought, I could help some of them out this way, people that listen to this. If you haven't been able to get a Bluesky, without getting too technical, it seems to be some kind of an authentication issue or a server issue. I think you actually could eventually, if you keep trying, I think you could eventually get logged in. I think the system is overloaded. Maybe it's being a denial of service attack. I'm not sure, but it may be that there's so much traffic going on with their servers that they can't let the real people through. Every once in a while, though, you'll get lucky and you'll get through. I logged out of my computer thinking I was trying to fix something because I couldn't post videos, and then I couldn't log back in. But I was already in on my phone, and it doesn't kick you out. It just doesn't let you in if you need to re-authenticate, which is the problem. And uploading videos is a part of that re-authentication process, and so it won't let me upload videos. It let me get like 2 uploaded this morning, or maybe 3, and that was it. Oh, there was one about Drew tucking Melody in for the night, and then I posted one of Yash dancing. Those both went fine this morning, but the ones that I wanted to post about strategic conversations haven't been able to post. So there you go, folks. 15 minutes, not bad. We'll sign off for a Sunday, and there could be major fireworks tomorrow because this could blow the game wide open. Oh, by the way, part of the argument may be that Devons may say that he took the $5,000 that D has to make this move, right? We'll see. again, it's a long ways. We're still roughly just under 24 hours out from the Power Veto ceremony. So we got a lot of things that go on tonight. I will talk to you guys tomorrow morning and let you know what developed for the rest of the day, okay? Be well. Thank you for your support. Bluesky fans, hang in there. Being in IT for 30 plus years, for 35 years, whatever it was, I can tell you that they are working hard to fix this, and I have confidence that they'll get it fixed. And I know it hurts to not be able to get on and do things, but don't give up on them, please. Stay with us on Bluesky, please. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.